Hello, I'm Jennifer Siebold, Executive Director of the Denver Voice, joining you tonight from Wynkoop Brewery. Wynkoop is one of this year's hosts for our event and has generously donated a portion of our drink sales this evening back to the Denver Voice. I'd like to welcome you to our second annual Pints Fighting Poverty event. There's a lot that's changed in our world in the last several months, and this year's Pints Fighting Poverty is no exception, as we join you tonight in your homes for our very first ever virtual event. What hasn't changed, though, is the unwavering success of the Denver Voice program and the incredible support from individuals like you, as we have faced one of our most challenging years in our more than 20-year history in Denver. This year, our Denver Voice family has faced a lot. In February, we lost a member of our Denver Voice family, Mr. Dwayne Pride. Dwayne, lovingly called Pride among our vendors, had been with The Voice since 2008, and he was in so many ways the heartbeat of our home and our community. His loss hit us all hard, but as the love flowed into our community following his passing, we were reminded of our mission and its incredible depth. In the days that we grieved the loss of Pride, we grieved not alone, as hundreds of calls, emails, and messages poured in to remind us of Dwayne's incredible presence in our community and the awesome power of second chances, a voice for all, and empowerment opportunities that give individuals control of their own course in life. Dwayne was among the best of us, and even in his absence, his smile warms and inspires us all in the way that he always has. His life is a reminder of the best moments in even the hardest of times, a reminder that we would need as 2020 marched on. And we honor Dwayne's memory through each day in our community. As we moved into March, COVID-19 took the world and The Voice by surprise. We saw our sales in March plummet as people in our community took precautions, and we were faced with some very hard decisions. Ultimately, we felt it was best to protect our vendors and buyers as we navigated the uncertainty of times. Thanks to supporters like you, we were able to shift quickly our focus from the end of March and through May to focus immediately on the emergency needs of our vendors, providing more than $20,000 in direct support to ensure access to food, healthcare, and other basic needs for our out-of-work vendors who largely would not qualify for unemployment benefits. We helped 40 vendors access their federal stimulus funds, provided phones for everyone without a lifeline, and our peer navigation team would make more than 500 personal calls during the 12-week shutdown, pointing our vendors to a range of support from rental and eviction prevention services to where to seek medical attention in case of an infection concern. An incredible feat. Thanks to you, we were able to ensure that not a single one of our vendors took a step backward during the height of the pandemic in our city and our state. And with you cheering our vendors on, we reopened in June for street distribution and continued to support our vendors by providing papers at 50% of the usual cost to help them keep a greater percentage of their income during this challenging time when sales remained low. We instituted Venmo sales for the first time, and we saw so many of our supporters come out and support this effort to give our vendors greater options for income in a socially distanced world. And as the months went on, you showed up to greet our vendors in person, remembering the importance of connection and helping us to inch sales back up to 70% of normal distribution in September, and by the end of October, up to 90% of normal distribution numbers. By continuing your donation support, you help us to serve even more people in need as we see the need rise with new vendors numbers climbing about 30% from August to September. In 2020, the individuals we served in our program topped 4,600 since 2007. This year is perhaps the greatest example of resilience we have ever seen. But street papers and the individuals who come to our program looking for life-changing education and empowerment tools and to take control of their lives, they have a history of resilience and a history of nimbly taking on what comes at them and coming through to the other side stronger and better equipped and ready for life's still full possibilities. That's the truly amazing thing that you make possible as a member of our community. Our history is filled with incredible stories. Our vendors are hardworking, they're entrepreneurs, they're writers, artists, poets, they're advocates, they're teachers, they're learners, and they're as unique as their own stories. And with a twofold mission, you get to be a part of those stories. The dialogue that creates communities united to take on big challenges. the challenges of inequity, division, and community misunderstanding and bias. As the leader of this great organization, I get to witness the meaning and hope behind opportunity and the power of tools and education in a path that our impoverished and homeless communities can access without barriers to actively be a part of building a better life for themselves, but also building better communities. That is the spirit of our work and the way that we honor everyone who has been a part of that mission this year and every year. We are so excited for you to join us tonight as we showcase that celebration, take a look back at 2020, and look forward to all that's ahead. And we hope that you'll feel inspired to give this evening as we strive to reach our goal to raise $25,000 tonight and to jumpstart us to raise the remaining $85,000 we need to make this year's budget and continue to have an even greater impact in 2021. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we hope that you enjoy the show and your drinks from our host sites. Host sites generously donated a portion of proceeds tonight to help us have greater success and help ensure that our guests and our attendees have a wonderful experience. So I want to extend a big thanks to Strange Craft Brewing, Bonaquisti Wines, Mythology Distillery, and Wynkoop Brewery, as well as to Groovy, who has provided some special zero-proof options in your baskets for this evening. Whether you are joining us tonight alone, with a friend, or from one of our many host sites, we thank you for your support of The Voice and for helping us support the generous local businesses who have come together to make this possible. It's been a tough year for them too, and we hope that you'll show them a little love. Thanks so much for being here, and we hope that you enjoy this year's Pints Fighting Poverty.
Welcome to Strange Craft Beer Company, Denver's oldest taproom brewery. We're sorry you couldn't be here in person tonight, but let's take a quick little tour of our tiny brewery, and hopefully sometime in the near future you can come and visit us. At Strange, we've always got 15 beers on tap, a lot of crowd favorites, a lot of experimentals, a lot of new stuff that we like to try. There's always something on tap for everybody, whether it's a breakfast grapefruit IPA, Cherry Creek, or a Dr. Strangelove barley wine. We've got some award winners. We've pulled down a few beer medals and World Craft Beer Cups over the years. And I think if you stop by and give it a try, you'll be pleasantly surprised at how delicious our beer is. And today we are drinking the Permanent Happy Hour Czech 10 Lager. It's a nice light 4.2% Pilsner. Very easy drinking and always on sale at $1 off because it's Permanent Happy Hour. So welcome to our huge beer garden, completely COVID safe, plenty of open seating, nicely spread out. We got some of the wine barrel tables here, and then over on this side we've got a bunch of our traditional beer garden tables. We're putting some tents up for the winter so that you can drink your beer comfortably even on the coolest of days. But in the summer, this place is really hopping, and hopefully next summer, when everything gets back to normal, come by and enjoy a pint on our huge beer garden out back. So Strange Craft is located in the Sun Valley neighborhood of the near west side of Denver, and we see the effects of poverty and homelessness all the time here. And being a good neighbor, we want to do our part to help solve the homeless problem in Denver and reduce the effects of poverty. And that's why we are supporting Pints for Poverty this year. So do your part to help support fixing homelessness. Come by, get a pint, stop by some of the other breweries that are also supporting Pints for Poverty, and do your part. Cheers.
Hello, welcome to Mythology Distillery. My name's Scott Coburn, I'm the head distiller here. I'm sorry you guys can't be with us today, but I'm going to show you around real quick. Here at Mythology, we specialize in gin, rum, whiskey, and vodka. We have a full cocktail bar, as you can see, and we distill our spirits on site. Here's Dylan. He's going to make an old fashioned, one of the drinks that you might have in your cocktail package.
So this is pretty much going to be a classic old-fashioned build. We're just going to be using our Mythology American whiskey, the Hellbear. a little bit of turbinado syrup, and a little bit of bitters, with just a nice orange peel on it. So first thing I always like to start with, let's get the syrup in there. Just a scant 1/4 ounce, don't want it too sweet. A little bit of Angostura bitters, you can use whatever aromatic bitters you like. And just a nice 2 ounces of that whiskey. We're going to go ahead and grab our ice. Make sure we have enough to chill everything down. Have a nice bit of dilution on there as well. Grab your spoon or any kind of stirring implement really. Just stir that down for about 20 seconds. You really just have to feel for it to get cold enough. Usually I'll taste this down to dilution, but we're trying not to overhandle the drinks as much nowadays. A nice easy pour. Thankfully I let my ice temper, otherwise it would crack all over the place. A little bit of an aesthetic choice. And just a little bit of orange peel. You're gonna break that right in front of the drink. Make sure you express all those nice oils. Give it a little twist. And just drop it in. That's an old fashioned. Cheers.
Here at Mythology Distillery, it's important for us to give back and be a part of the community. That's why Pints Fighting Poverty is such an important cause for us. During this pandemic, we don't want to see anyone struggling with poverty, and it's something we can do to give back a little bit. We hope to see you guys once all this is over. Have a nice holiday season.
Welcome everybody to Bonaquisti Wine Company. I'm Paul Bonaquisti. We're an urban winery located here in North Denver. We like to call it the North Side, right off of I-70 in Pecos. Come on in, I want to show you around and let you know what we do. So being an urban winery, we launched in 2006, so 14 years this year. We've been around, we don't own a vineyard. Take a sigh of relief, we don't grow grapes out here at I-70 in Pecos. We source grapes on the open market. We buy a lot of fruit from Palisade over near Grand Junction. So a lot of Colorado grapes. We also bring in some California fruit and we crush, ferment, and bottle here on site. So we have a lot of different wines. We do stuff really in small productions, so our inventory changes quarterly, which coincides with our wine club. So we have currently white, a rosé. We also have a dry Riesling. We have our house red. This is our signature red called Vinny No Neck, named after my son Vincent. We also have D-Red, which is a blend of Zinfandel and Barbera. Cabernet Franc, Tempranillo, both from Colorado vineyards. And we also have wines on tap that we do in 1 liter refillable growlers. So when you come in, we'd love to see you. We're not doing any events during COVID. We're only open for curbside pickup, or actually you can come into the winery and pick out your wine, but no on-premise consumption. So we feel bad about that, but we hope to be open again soon in 2021, where we do events. We also feature live music every Friday night, and we're looking forward to doing that once again. Really, we're honored to be connected with the Denver Voice. It's part of our core philosophy here to support local education and local nonprofits. And we're really excited to be a part of this program. So looking forward to seeing you in the winery someday. And that's it. Cheers.
I just want to start out by saying that this year it's been a struggle, but I hung in there though, and it's, you know, thanks to the Voice though. The Voice has always been here for me, you know, where that I'm able to to rely on to you know what I'm saying, to earn some extra funds, whatever that I may need, you know what I'm saying, to make it throughout this COVID-19 stuff. So, but yeah, overall though, you know, I've pretty much been doing for myself, and you know, and doing small jobs, handyman jobs, and stuff like that, and things. Like I said, though, it's been a struggle and things, but I'm a planner and I'm a preparer, and I landed a job at Amazon. I started it Monday, so, and I'm really looking forward to, you know what I'm saying, making for that to be my career move. But like I said, though, the voice is always here, so you know what I mean. So if I need extra funds and stuff like that, or if the voice need me for anything, I'm here for the voice as well, because like I said, the voice has always been here for me for the past, oh my goodness, I would say 10 years. You know, I've seen a lot of things going on with the voice, a lot of transitions, different staff members, everything. But you know, this has been the hardest this year here. This year has been a very hard year for me, and maybe for the voice too. But we're hanging in there. So, and all I can say is we will continue to hang in there, as long as it's good people like ourselves. So, with that being said, keep supporting the voice, folks.
I have been working for the Voice about 8 years and about 3 or 4 months. Best job I ever had in my life. Like the people, 16th Street Mall is my whole office. Fantastic people, Jennifer, Elizabeth, fantastic people, fantastic friends, John, Ray Brown. It's a blessing to be here. Donors, y'all are fantastic. God bless y'all. I wish y'all the best. Be safe. Have a happy, safe New Year and Christmas. And be safe out there with the smoke and fire and Corvette and all that stuff. And God bless y'all.
Like, the Denver Voice been like wonderful for me. Even with the pandemic, they actually came through for the people that was really seriously vending. And I appreciate y'all for like donating to us and keeping us going. You know, right now I took on a little bit too much when I bought an RV, trying to like escape this homelessness. But y'all actually kept me going where I could like start working on it and fixing it. I do love y'all, and I hope y'all keep donating. I mean, there's people out there that's really struggling. You have a good day.
A lot of people are going through a lot of things this with the COVID. But prior to the COVID, I was going through a lot of stuff, and I was able to lean on the Denver Voice and God. And I prayed, and you know, the Lord blessed me with, you know, some kind-hearted people who gave me some finances to help me get through that hard time. So thank God for that, and I thank the Denver Voice for being an instrument for the homeless, and thank who all and everybody who is connected to the Voice.
I've been with the Voice for 10 years, and I really appreciate all the people that support us. It enabled me to do a lot of things like buy clothing and have some pocket money.
I've always appreciated when people give of themselves on any level, especially those donors that contribute to the Denver Voice, because it's more intimate, and we receive those kind gestures in many different forms, you know. But I think of gratitude, and I think of people like yourselves, and so I really appreciate everything. And I've written numerous articles on this particular subject of grace and gratitude and so forth. But I just wanted to thank you all very much for the things that you do, not only for us, but I know you're out there in the community and doing for others as well.
I tell everybody, this paper is the best thing that ever happened for homeless people. They don't care if you're a convicted felon, no education, no GED, no high school diploma, no job history or job references. You're homeless, you're on drugs or alcohol, no telephone, no address. Oh, you got an ankle bracelet, courtesy to courts? Who's going to give you a chance? You have no job history or references. So the paper did not care. I was homeless, and I got to Colorado November of '07, November 29th, and at the place called the Bridge House in Boulder, up on the bulletin board it said, be your own boss, work your own hours. So I asked them what it meant. And they said, sell a newspaper and you get to keep 75% of it. So I went and became a vendor January 14th, '08. I was homeless under the Boulder Arapahoe Bridge, and I was just thrilled because now I'm employed as a self-employed vendor, and it didn't matter about anything because I taught myself to read and write basically at 28 because of lack of eye coordination, nobody believing me in the younger years, and then 2 years of eye training. And if you're in the 6th grade and you already stayed back 3 times, you're technically supposed to have been in the 9th, and you're flunking 1st grade reading and spelling, you know. So I was grateful for the paper. Shortly after that, I went to Flatirons Church, and I realized God did love me. It was for me too, and they didn't reject me. And by January of '09, I was a top female voice vendor. And boy, did that give me pride. The newspaper gives self-esteem, self-worth, self-respect, self-confidence. It gives you a chance and an opportunity, and it's up to you what you make with that. You know, if you give up on yourself, then you're giving up on you. You know, so the paper allowed me to become who I was meant to be. And now 13 years later, I have my own home, my own car. I'm the top female voice vendor. I'm even proud to say the queen of the voice because of the fact that I've been there longer than the 2 owners, 4 publishers, longer than all the board members, which I'm on. So that blows my mind that I'm on the board of a nonprofit newspaper without any formal education, and that I'm a valued member of the paper. So your $2 donation really transforms, and it empowers and it impacts the vendor's life. It gives them an opportunity for a home. It gives them an opportunity to maybe even leave the paper, but it gives them money coming in until they find what they really want to do. Or some of the vendors like me can't get a job no place else, and we're quite comfortable, and they allow us to continue to working for life as long as we want to.
When I joined the Denver Voice last July, I was fortunate to inherit an exceptional pool of contributors and have since added a few more folks to the team. So when anyone compliments me on the quality of the Voice's content or the layout, they, along with our graphic designer, Hannah Bragg, deserve the praise. The articles we publish resonate with our readers because these contributors believe in the work we do at The Voice, and they genuinely care about the people we serve. While I think our paper has excellent articles, I'm especially proud of the editorial content we've published since the pandemic first hit. We didn't print a paper in April or May, but with the help of our contributors, we posted timely updates to our website on how the pandemic was affecting organizations, individuals, and local businesses. One article on our website that received a lot of attention was a piece by Giles Clausen about a musician who participated in a vigil for Elijah McClain this past summer. Since we started printing again in June, Giles has profiled a number of community leaders, including DPS school board member Tay Anderson, Sarah Jackson, who founded Casa de Paz, which serves families of immigrants detained at the ICE facility in Aurora, and Representative Brianna Titone, who is the first transgender individual elected to state office in Colorado. Robert Davis, a longtime Denver Voice vendor, has been diligent about updating us on the legislation or events affecting policies on homelessness. Paula Bard, who is a newer contributor to The Voice, has been writing about the people she has met in some of the encampments around downtown Denver, or organizations like the Colorado Care Collective and Mutual Aid of Denver that provide residents of the camps with clean water, food, and personal hygiene products. Doug Herdlicka, who recently returned as a voice contributor, has introduced us to some of the helpers in our community, like Miss Earth Colorado 2020, Alyssa Magalong, who makes mats out of recycled plastic bags and distributes them to unhoused individuals. He also wrote about Peace, Love, and Pause, a veterinary clinic serving the pets of those experiencing homelessness or poverty. While I'm confident that we're doing a good job of talking about what is happening on a local and national level, I imagine that many of you participating in our fundraiser want to know more about our vendors and the role they play in our editorial content. After all, they are the reason the Denver Voice exists. Until this past March, I would say the majority of our vendors were involved with the paper in some capacity. But when COVID-19 struck, it affected everyone, including our vendors, who are among the hardest hit populations in our community. It was challenging to communicate with vendors whose only access to the internet had been through local libraries, which were suddenly closed. We realized quickly that many of our vendors did not have cell phones, a luxury so many of us don't think twice about having. During the shutdown, we were able to provide phones to the vendors who needed them so that our peer navigators could check on the vendors involved in our program and offer them guidance for housing, healthcare, and other support. Considering that we were separated for more than 11 weeks, those phones and the regular check-ins from our peer navigators were a lifeline to our vendors. Now that we are printing again, more vendors are returning to the office. Even so, as we wind our way back to normal, we remain vigilant about social distancing and mask wearing, as more than 75% of our vendors are over the age of 50. Because of the safety protocols, we keep our interactions with the vendors short. Even so, they contribute in so many ways, writing poetry about the pandemic, answering tough and sometimes very personal questions about difficult topics, and submitting incredible artwork, including the designs for this year's December wrapping paper issue. Denver Voice vendors are some of the most resilient and resourceful people I've worked with. And when the time is right, I look forward to sharing their inspiring stories about how they've coped during the pandemic. Until we all have a better handle on the pandemic, though, our primary focus remains on delivering a paper with relevant and valuable information as a way for our vendors to earn an income, especially during this economically challenging time. We're able to continue publishing the paper thanks to you, our incredible community of supporters. For now, we will continue engaging Denver Voice supporters in a dialogue about the root causes of homelessness and steps we all can take to find solutions. The best way to make sure that dialogue happens is to keep the communication lines open, even as our world seems to be getting so much smaller. With your help and support, we can continue to empower Denver Voice vendors so they can regain control of their lives. It is my honor to be the managing editor of the Denver Voice and to share in this year's successes with all of you.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Hickenlooper, and I am so proud to have the opportunity to represent you in the United States Senate and to present Denver Voice's first Vendor of the Year award. Since 1996, the Denver Voice has been working in our community to change the face of homelessness by providing education, empowerment, and economic opportunity to those experiencing homelessness and poverty. The Denver Voice street paper allows individuals who may not otherwise be able to work, whether because of personal circumstance or health. It allows them the opportunity to earn income, to meet basic needs and regain confidence and control of their lives through their vending of Denver's own street newspaper and in the writing of it as well. Today, we congratulate David Gordon, who is the first person to ever receive this award. Growing up in Denver during the 1970s, David has witnessed firsthand the city's growing pains. While the Voice was on a printing hiatus, David navigated the streets of Denver, observing the civil unrest over the killings of Black men and women throughout the country. David believes that for people to move past pain, they need to be willing to have the important and difficult conversations that help us grow. For David, active and intentional communication is what leads to healing and brings people together to confront our greatest challenges. David brings a passion for people treating each other with dignity to Denver Voice, no matter where they sleep, no matter what their jobs may be. That's how David treats his customers and those around him. When a group of sixth graders visited the Denver Voice recently, David took time to speak to these students as his equals. In response to their question, how can young people like us make a difference to those experiencing homelessness? David let them know that their voices mattered. Regardless of a person's age or where they sleep at night, they have something to say, and they deserve to be treated with compassion and dignity. The Denver Voice recognizes the gift David Gordon brings to the organization with his wisdom and willingness to address the most difficult conversations. It is my great honor to recognize David Gordon as the Denver Voice Vendor of the Year. Congratulations, David.
When I do this, it is from the heart. We are representing a group of people who are the most vulnerable on the planet. You know, in every part of the world, people who are in poverty or homeless don't have a voice. So I'm speaking for everybody, not just here in Denver, but around the world.
And how long have you been vending for the Voice?
9 years.
And what's that experience been like for you personally? How has it helped?
It's helped me understand that it's not immoral to be homeless. It's not immoral to be forced to function in poverty. When we stop equating morality and poverty together, then I think that we're on the right track.
What have you learned? You know, during the pandemic, I know you were sheltering. Talk about your own experience and like just the resiliency and your own inner motivation that you've had to draw home.
Just during this pandemic, I realized just how much more vulnerable people who are homeless are. You know, the resources that we have, we kind of forget about it. We take it for granted. Just a little resource of being able to charge your phone, gone. You know, the places that certain people would go on certain nights, Tuesday night over at the place where people would go eat and get clothing and stuff, gone. All the services gone. You're already poor and struggling, and then to have even more of the services gone, then to be forced to be around people with the virus going on. You know, it was tough, and I realized at that point just how much vulnerable poverty is.
Then in terms of the work you do personally and what the Denver Voice means to you and your ability to work, can you talk about that a little bit?
It's everything. You know, being able to supply information on a consistent basis, good, solid information, non-political, non-partisan. It's important.
Were there any stories that you know since we've been back in print, or any encounters, anything you want to talk about that have like been really especially important to you?
When I read last month, what's his name? Ryan from that coffee.
Oh yeah, Ryan Taylor, I think.
Yeah,
it is.
Ryan Taylor. Yeah, I thought that he hit a home run on that. I thought that, you know, the way he laid it out, I think it was, we don't need homes, we need relationships. And the Denver Voice has been a relationship for me. It's not just a newspaper, it's not just a job. The people I've developed relationships with, they're important to me. I think about them. When I'm rooting for people, they're at the top of my list. So Brian's right. And we all, that's what we all need, relationships, an understanding. We have to stop the control and the power that we have over somebody and constantly invoking that power over them. We have to have an open, honest relationship, and which is what The Voice is about, to facilitate a dialogue about homelessness, the roots and the causes. And so the mission of The Voice really, really hit home with me.
Hello everyone, I'm Gary Shapiro at 9 News, and it is my honor and pleasure to say a few words about the Denver Voice. As many of you know, I've been an anchor and reporter at 9 News for many years and have done, I don't know, probably thousands of stories here. Most are kind of blurred in my memory, but some do stand out. And one that stands out was a story I did back in 1996. It was a feature about a new street newspaper in Denver that was started by people experiencing homelessness who were writing stories about homelessness. Many of them sold the papers too, and I thought that was such a unique and interesting concept that I really never forgot it. It was so new to me and so important to the community. I have followed The Voice over the years, often interacting with the vendors out on the street. And recently I did another story on the paper and how they were dealing with the pandemic. The Voice has changed in many ways since that first story. It has become a lot more sophisticated. But one thing that has not changed, its importance to Colorado, the dedication of the staff, the passion of the organization for helping the homeless community, and the wonderful work of the volunteers. Which brings me to this year's Denver Voice Volunteer of the Year. I am so happy to be able to honor a fellow television journalist. Lainey Lee Cook is an assignment editor for our friends up the street at KDVR Fox 31 and KWGN Channel 2. She's only been in town since 2019, but has already put her focus, time, and her talents into making a difference through her volunteer work. She saw a news release come across her desk about the Denver Voice, and it sounded interesting, so she went out and checked it out. Lainey was so intrigued by the journalistic mission of the paper, but even more interested in the human mission. She wanted to know more about the causes of homelessness in the city and about the people who are living on the streets. She loves working with the vendors and learning their stories. The staff says that Lainey is not only a dependable volunteer, but a huge morale booster through her personality and attitude. They say that her compassion, patience, and ability to remain calm in the midst of chaos and challenges is what makes her stand out, and I know she gets that from being a TV assignment editor. The staff says it was a good day when everyone was allowed back in the building after the pandemic shutdown, because Lainey was one of the first ones to come back and get to work. Besides her TV career and her volunteer work with The Voice, Lainey has carved out some time to explore the state. She takes guitar lessons, and you may see her skateboarding around the city. I know I join everyone in congratulating this year's Denver Voice Volunteer of the Year, Lainey Lee Cook.
It's been really great developing relationships over the past year with our vendors and the people who work here in the office with us. Hearing everyone's stories and just joking around with people and developing that rapport with them has been lovely. At this stage, it's about the only social interaction I get, so it's really great to have the community of people around you and everyone's taking care of everyone and doing what they can to make sure that everyone's got what they need to get by day to day.
How has it changed you in any way, or what is your impression of the Voice and the vendors, especially the vendors?
Well, the Voice just is providing a great service for our community. It's giving people opportunities to stay afloat and make the money they need to get by. And our vendors are just fun people to hang around with and get to know. And the compassion everyone has for one another sticks with me. And it's a good community to be a part of.
I moved to Denver recently as of June and started with The Voice only a couple of months ago, and it's been an interesting time to come on board in the midst of these kind of exceptional and challenging circumstances that The Voice has been confronted with this year, but it's also been a really encouraging thing to kind of get this firsthand crash course in how adaptable and resilient this organization is. And I attribute that a lot to the leadership from the staff and the board. I also think a lot of that has to do with the incredible supporters that we have in the Denver area and our volunteers, and probably most importantly, our vendors themselves, who are testaments to adaptability and resilience in their own lives. And so it's been really incredible just seeing how this organization has kind of overcome the challenges of this year and not really lost its vision of what its mission is and the people who it serves. And so, you know, looking ahead to next year, I mean, I'm sure there'll be plenty of challenges that we'll confront in 2021, but I'm confident that we'll be able to overcome them, and not just overcome them, but I think excel and thrive. I mean, I personally am going to be focused through the remainder of this year and into next year on growing and expanding our programmatic footprint. So that means recruiting new vendors, that means retaining the vendors who walk through our doors, and that means expanding our peer navigator program. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be in this role with this organization doing this critical work, and I'm excited to see what the new year brings. And I thank you all so much for your support in making us, you know, able to do what we're able to do.
It's been such an incredibly hard year for so many folks in our community, and the vendors and the individuals we serve in our program are among some of the hardest hit by this pandemic. And I feel really fortunate to be able to work for an organization that reminds me every day of the incredible spirit of individuals like you who help us, and the power of community and the work that we do in bringing community together. I think it's really easy to get bogged down in how tough this year has been, and I've had the great pleasure of seeing how incredibly wonderful people are as well, and how you've come together and supported our vendors. When we asked for additional help and we provided grants to folks, our donors really came in and stepped up and gave and were generous and continue to support the work that we do during this time. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful to you. And I just feel really lucky to see the kind of human spirit that we get to see here at The Voice, and the work that we do is having even greater impact now as we see need grow in our communities. We are seeing more individuals come to us in need as this economic cycle kind of continues for a little while longer. And I think it comes down to the fact that that's why The Voice is here, and I really appreciate that we are able to continue to be resilient and nimble and kind of take what comes in stride because we have the incredible support of community members like you.
There's a lot that goes into delivering a monthly paper for our vendors to sell. And I just thank you all so much for your support and championing the Denver Voice, because it's you who make it possible for us to get the paper out regularly. And we really couldn't do it without you. Thanks so much.
really want to thank a lot of the donors that we've had that supported us and are supporting our new part of the program, the peer navigators. A lot of the things that we've done, we would not have been able to do this. We would not have been able to start without the support of the donors like you and many of you. They came to our aid and are still helping us and assisting us. And I want to give a special thanks to you. And I want to say that I believe and I feel that like action speaks louder than words. And I think I'd like to say especially to the donors and for the donors that by their actions, they've already shown one of the most important things, that when helping other people to help themselves, it doesn't cost, it pays. And it has really paid in our situation from their help. And that help has made it, did make it possible, I feel, deep down personally, that has helped me personally, financially, and even literally saving my life by this in many different ways in detail. But one of the co-workers, my main supervisor here at the program, was one of the people that found me or tracked me down in the street from this stroke I had and didn't know where I was, and got me into the hospital at death's door. And remained there, as I think I've mentioned before to a lot of people, a lot of times, I think about 2 months. And it was all with them. And there, when I got out and began to start trying to pick things up and start back on my own, many of the people that were my co-workers in this particular the Peer Navigator program were there. To not only were we still helping other vendors and reaching out to other vendors, but they were there, right there, helping and just reaching out to me. And so all of that comes right down to you. These people have been supporting us.
It's worth mentioning too that even in the midst of having to be really adaptable this year and sort of taking things as they come and just planning on the fly, we've also been able to plan for the future in a really big way. The Voice will be moving in this month, and by Thanksgiving we will be in a new location that is in the Santa Fe Art District, and we will have a space that allows us to continue to serve people during this time when it has been a little bit more challenging to maintain the flow of our office. We will have a corner retail space and an opportunity to really be a part of the community in a bigger way. So I just appreciate that even in the midst of crisis and day-to-day twists and turns, we've been able to really look at a plan for where do we want to be in the next 3 to 5 years, and what does the future of the Voice look like. And I'm excited to say that I think it's still a very big plan with big things in mind, even though we've had to adjust a lot this year. I'm excited for 2021, and I'm really thrilled that we are making this move, and that thanks to the support of folks who give and buy the paper from our vendors and support the work that we do, we are going to be able to continue to have a bigger impact, even as we think need will continue to grow in the community over the next year as this economic crisis continues and we feel the ripple a little bit bigger. We'll be able to serve people the way that we always have, by employing people at a very low barrier and helping people to start over and look at their lives effectively and make a plan and cope with whatever life throws at them. And that is in great part thanks to a really incredible staff and awesome vendors and our supporters.